Hola clase, this is Senora Sharon, and this is your Chapter 4 test review. So, things you have learned in this chapter, you have learned adjectives describing words, you've learned adjective agreement, you have learned ser and estar, how to conjugate them, and the difference. You have also learned your interrogative words who, what, when, where, why, how much, how many. Um, and that is pretty much what you have learned. So, grammar wise, adjective agreement, stare in a star. Vocab wise, you've got your list there. So, here is what to expect. For the first 5 questions, you are just going to be matching up an English word with a Spanish word, specifically adjectives. So, tall, short, young, old, whatever adjectives are in your vocab, make sure you know those and you are matching them up. After that, you are going to have 5 more questions that are adjective agreement. So, what that means is if they give you a word like El Nino, they are going to follow that with 4 different options for your adjective, and the adjective is always going to be the same word. So, it might be triste. So maybe your options are triste, trista with an A, tristes with an ES at the end, tristos with an OS at the end. And you would want to pick, since El Nino is masculine and singular, you would want the masculine and singular version there. So in this case, it would be triste. So, really quickly, review of adjective agreement. If your adjective ends in an O, it is masculine and singular. If you want to change that to be talking about a girl, you change your O to an A. That is how you make an adjective feminine. Now, if it ends in something else, like an L or an E or something, you leave it alone. The only time you change an adjective from masculine to feminine is if it ended in an O and then you change it to an A. Now, you also can make those plural. So, just like with your articles, you can use plural articles. Your adjectives have to agree with the noun, just number wise, so singular or plural. And the same rules apply to adjectives as they do to nouns. So, if your adjective ended in a vowel, then you just add s. If it ended in a consonant, you add es. I can't think of any adjectives that end in Z, but theoretically, if you have any adjectives that end in a Z, you'll change it to C, then add ES. So if your word is triste, Triste, it ends in an E, you don't change it to make it masculine or feminine, but you will still change it if you need to make it plural. It ending in an E is a vowel, so to make it plural, you would add an S there, tristes. So that is how adjectives work. If you missed that lesson, YouTube is your friend. Check it out, Spanish Adjective Agreement. It will be on there. There will be about 50,000 videos. So after those 10 questions, there are 5 questions where they're going to give you an adjective and you decide should it be ser or estar. So that's really all there is to it. So it might say contento, happy. Would that be a ser adjective or a estar adjective? If somebody's happy, that's probably their feelings, and so that is going to be a estar. So really quickly, the difference between ser and estar, really it comes down to differentiating qualities. If it is something that makes you who you are, that's going to be ser. So if you are tall or short or a nice person, if you are a student or you are a teammate, you are on the basketball team or something like that, that is going to be ser. Those are things that make you different from other people, things that make you who you are. Estar is feelings and location. So if you are feeling happy today, not a happy person, just happy today, that's going to be estar. If you're sick, that's just today, that's going to be estar. On the other hand, location. Now, location, that is where something is located. Don't think of that as temporary or permanent. Think of it as location, because it can be the location of your backpack or the location of Tennessee or anything like that. So permanent or temporary, either way, location is a star. Feelings, location, those are a star. Also, to make life really, really easy on yourself, if you look on your vocab list, they are broken down into ser adjectives and a star adjectives. So at the very least, if it's too late for you to feel like you can understand that concept, look at your vocab list. If it's under ser, it's a ser adjective. If it's under a star, it's a star adjective. Honestly, that's not super cut and dry. I don't like to think of it that way, but that would get you through a test. After those questions, you have the interrogative words, who, what, when, where, why. So for that, it's going to have a question and then an answer. So I'm going to write an example on here. So it might say something es el concierto. Es mañana. So it might say something like this: blank es el concierto. If you can figure out what that means, that is something is the concert. Now, there are lots of things that would make sense there. When is the concert? Where is the concert? Actually, that's all I can think of. But either one of those makes sense if that's standing by itself. But our answer is es mañana. It's tomorrow. So if the answer is it's tomorrow, the question word must have been when. When is the concert? Now, it will be multiple choice, but if you can do it without multiple choice, you can do it with multiple choice. So that would be cuando. Cuando es el concierto? When is the concert? It is tomorrow. So that's what to expect on those 5 questions. Know your vocabulary. It could be from this chapter. It could be from the last chapter. It might say something about a libro on there, a book. That's not from this chapter. That's because a language is constantly building on itself. So you still got to know old vocabulary. But for sure, your question words, you know those are going to be on there. And it is multiple choice. Pick which one makes sense. After those 5 questions, you are going to have a reading section. And for this, there is a girl named Camelia, and she is talking about herself and her family and giving descriptions of herself and her family. And then there are true-false questions. The sentences that you're deciding if they're true or false, they are in Spanish also, which in my opinion is easier than going back and forth between the 2 languages. But you're just going to look at it and say, okay, this says, la madre de Camelia está contenta hoy. The mother of Camelia is happy today. Go back up to the reading, see if it says that she is happy today. If so, that is cierto. If not, that is falso. All right. After that, there are some listening sections or listening questions, and these are all about the time. So it might say, son las 8:30 de la mañana. And you would want to pick A, B, C, or D. What time was that? So I said, son las 8:30 de la mañana. Think about that. That means it is 8:30 a.m. So that's what you're doing there. So quick review of that. With time, ESLA is for 1 o'clock. Son las is for 2 through 12. And then you say the number. So es la una, son las dos, son las tres, son las cuatro, son las cinco, etc. All the way to son las 12. And then for those 2 little dots, like 12:15, you say y. Son las 2:00, and then you say the minutes. So if it's 2:05, son las 2:05. If it's 3:20, son las 3:20. All right. There are additional words, AM and PM. AM, de la mañana. PM, either de la tarde or de la noche. And both of those are PM. The difference is in the afternoon or in the evening. Other things, if it's 15 after, you can say y quince, and that's right, but you also want to recognize the other one, Y cuarto is the other way to say 15 after. That's like saying a quarter after. Y media, that's another way to say half past. So if it's 3:30, son las 3:30 is fine. Son las 3:30 is also fine. You want to recognize both of them. So on your test, that is all for the multiple choice. And good news, there is no writing section on this test. You're welcome. Good luck on the test tomorrow.